The hall goes pitch black. Not, con lights dimmed, black, we're talking TOKYO3 during the third impact blackout. A single chainsaw revs in the darkness. Raw, guttural, like Pochita himself just woke up cranky. The rev echoes, Dopplers, then cuts dead. One heartbeat of silence. Then the bass drops so hard the floor vibrates like Denji just landed a full power jump off a devil skyscrapers. A blood-red spotlight slices down. The MC bursts onto stage riding a real, smoke-belching mini chainsaw bike that somebody definitely stole from the Chainsaw Man float outside. Cord around his chest, fake heart grenade pin in his teeth, jacket flapping like black wings. He skids sideways, sparks flying, and screams into the mic with 100% pure gremlin energy. Welcome to the Church of Public Safety's most classified file, the full, UN redacted, Makima approved nightmare fuel life story of Nayuta. The crowd detonates before he even finishes the name. This isn't a panel anymore, it's a goddamn exorcism meets revival meeting for every Chainsaw Man fan who sold their soul for chapter drops at 11 p.m. on Sundays. The MC is possessed, full Denji mode, zero filter, voice already shredded from yelling, Pochita. At the sky, he rips the cord on his chest mid-sentence and plastic blood splatters the front row. They cheer louder, because of course they do. Every sentence is delivered like he's one bad day away from turning into the Chainsaw Devil himself. Lights strobe crimson and orange like the bomb girl explosion. Fog machines pump devil smoke so thick you can taste the iron. The screen behind him flickers with censored redacted files, then slams into the classic manga panel of tiny Nayuta clutching Pochita under a rainy vending machine, eyes too old for a kid reincarnated control devil. The hype is unhinged. The MC runs from one end of the stage to the other, sliding on his knees, screaming, "You thought Denji had it rough? Wait till you meet the girl who was literally born to rule the world and chose belly rubs and headpats instead." He grabs a plush Pochita from thin air, yeets it into the crowd, and 50 people dive like it's the One Piece. When he hits the line, "She smiled," and the entire timeline cried blood, he actually bites his own tongue for real blood drip, because this is Chainsaw Man, pain is mandatory, catharsis is optional, and the audience is already feral. He switches voices on a dime. Squeaky kindergarten Nayuta begging for ice cream, cold Makima whisper overlapping like a glitch, Denji's cracked big brother panic, even Power's unhinged cackle when Nayuta first calls her, stinky horn lady. Every trope, reincarnated final boss, found family in a crumbling apartment, tragic cycle of control and freedom, is delivered with the subtlety of a chainsaw to the face and twice the love. The hall is one collective held breath, waiting for the moment the story goes from cute doggo slice of life straight into Fujimoto's patented soul blender. By the time the MC collapses spread eagle center stage, chest heaving, fake blood pooling, whispering, "She just wanted to go to college," the entire convention has already ascended. Phones are shaking, someone's screaming, "Protect Nayuta," in the same tone they once screamed for Aki. This is no longer a keynote. This is the Chainsaw Man fandom in its final form. Beautiful, broken, covered in blood, and laughing through the tears because that's the only way to survive loving anything Fujimoto touches. And we're only on the title card. The lights don't just drop, they're executed. 1 second the hall is buzzing, the next it's swallowed by the same void that ate Katana Man's dignity. A single heartbeat, then the sound design hits. The wet, mechanical growl of a chainsaw starter cord ripping through flesh. And concrete, layered under the faint, tinny jingle of a convenience store door chime. The screen flashes pure white, then slams into the very first panel Fujimoto ever drew of her. Tiny Nayuta, soaked to the bone, clutching a shivering Pochita under flickering fluorescent light, eyes glowing like twin warning signs that say, "I could end the world, but right now I just want hot chocolate." The MC explodes onto stage mid-rev, actual chainsaw blades spinning on his arms, safety tipped, but nobody in the crowd cares. Blood-red jacket, tie half undone, hair wild like he just survived the Bomb Devil reunion tour. He doesn't walk, he prowls, voice already shredded into that perfect Denji rasp. "Listen up, you beautiful disasters. We're about to mainline the single most illegal arc in Chainsaw Man history. The one Makima tried to erase, the one Kishibe drinks to forget, the one that made Fujimoto himself stare into the abyss and go, 'Yeah, that's too far, let's print it anyway.'" Instant nuclear detonation from the crowd. Someone in the back screams, "Nayuta." So loud their voice cracks like puberty in real time. The entire keynote is one long, unhinged anime episode told at 300% speed with zero commercial breaks and all the content warnings taped over. It opens cold on the reincarnation scene, Makima's corpse on the pavement, rain mixing with blood, and then, cut to black. Smash cut to a kindergarten classroom. A little girl with the exact same dead fish stare raises her hand and says, in the sweetest voice ever animated, "Sensei, I think I used to be God." The MC acts it out on his knees, switching from demonic baritone to sugar high 5-year-old in half a second, and the audience is already laughing and crying because only Chainsaw Man can make existential horror that adorable. Then comes the sugar rush found family montage delivered like a fever dream. MC sprints across stage left to right, voice acting every character at once. Denji's panicked, "I'm a dad now." Overlapping with Power yelling, "This tiny tyrant smells of conquest and candy." While Aki's ghost in the background sighs, "I'm too dead for this." Lights strobe warm 7-Eleven orange, Pochita barks sound effects on loop, and every time Nayuta demands headpats the entire hall coos in perfect unison because we are all Denji, we have all sold our souls for those headpats. But Fujimoto doesn't do happiness without a receipt, and the MC knows it. The second the MC whispers, "For one beautiful year, she got to be a normal kid," the music cuts to that low, awful drone from the International Assassin's arc. Lights bleed to cold blue. The MC freezes mid-headpat pose, hand trembling. You can hear 10,000 people stop breathing at once. Then the control devil wakes up. The MC's voice drops into something unholy, layered like Makima and Nayuta arguing inside the same throat. "Do you remember what it feels like to be loved without a chain around your neck?" The screen flashes every horrific Makima panel in 0.2-second bursts, bang bang bang, while the MC screams over it, "She does." And she chose the chain anyway because Denji's stupid, broke, bleeding heart was the only thing that ever asked, "How was school today?" Instead of, "Kneel." Inner monologues hit like shotgun blasts. The MC claws at his own face. "If I control everything, nobody can leave me, but if I control nothing, I'm just a kid who wants her big brother to stop coughing blood every morning." Then he headbutts the air itself, roaring, "Screw destiny, I'm going to college and getting a dog and no one can stop me." Half the crowd is sobbing, the other half is chanting, "College arc. College arc." Like it's a shonen power-up. The pacing is merciless. 1 minute we're in slapstick heaven, Nayuta riding Pochita like a pony through the apartment, Power screaming about stolen pudding. Next minute we're in the abyss. Quiet rainy rooftop, Nayuta staring at her own tiny hands, whispering, "If I disappear, will Oni-chan finally get to be happy?" The MC delivers that line on his knees, rain machine soaking him, voice breaking into a million pieces, and the entire convention hall turns into the final scene of part 1 all over again. By the time he collapses center stage, soaked in fake blood and real tears, gasping, "She just wanted to be a normal girl who gets picked up from school," the hall has become a pulse of its own. Everyone is swaying, everyone is wrecked, everyone is alive in the specific way only Chainsaw Man can make you feel, like you've been gutted with a dull blade and thank the wielder for it. And that's just the cold open. The real tragedy hasn't even started revved up yet. Chainsaw massacre of every sacred Chainsaw Man trope, and we don't just lean into them, we rev the blades spinning, we carve them into the walls and set the scraps on fire while laughing like Power on a blood high. First trope on the altar. The reincarnated final boss who's now pocket-sized and obsessed with snacks. The MC throws his arms wide and screams, "Behold! The conquest devil, the one who made presidents kneel, who turned the entire planet into her personal leash, reborn as a kindergartner who cries if her ice cream falls on the ground." The screen slams the panel of Nayuta pouting with chocolate smeared on her cheek next to the panel of Makima smiling over a mountain of corpses. The contrast so brutal the entire hall wheezes in delighted pain. Next, the mandatory, "I was the big bad all along," trauma dump, but Fujimoto style, served with onigiri and a side of headpats. The MC drops to his knees, cradling an invisible Pochita, voice cracking into Nayuta's tiny whisper. "I used to make people into dogs, now I just want Denji ni to read me One Piece before bed." Instant nuclear tears. Someone in the front row actually yells, "Stop, she's literally 5. Found family in a dumpster trope. We don't do cute, we do apocalyptic. Denji, Power, Aki's ghost, Beam, and a reincarnated control devil all crammed into a one-room apartment that smells like instant ramen and devil blood. The MC acts it out in fast forward. Power stealing Nayuta's pudding, Nayuta pointing one tiny finger and going full Makima voice, "Obey, Power immediately handing it back while screaming, "Sorry, Your Highness." The hall loses its collective mind because yes, that is exactly how it would go down. Then the ultimate Fujimoto gut punch trope, happiness is a countdown with a lit fuse. The MC's voice goes dead quiet, lights drop to a single flickering bulb like the graveyard scene. Every time she laughed, every time Denji carried her home on his shoulders, every time she called Pochita, "Good boy," the clock ticked louder. The screen shows a silent montage. Nayuta asleep on Denji's back, calendar pages flipping, a shadow growing behind her eyes. No music, just the wet click 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 of a chainsaw idling in the distance. 10,000 people forget how to breathe. And the final trope, the one that ends civilizations, the smile that says, "I'm going to break your heart and you'll thank me." The MC rips the cord on his chest one last time, fake blood spraying in a perfect arc, and roars with Nayuta's voice layered over his own. "Even if I become the thing everyone's afraid of again, I want Oni-chan to live in a world that doesn't need chainsaws anymore." He freezes in the exact pose from the manga, tiny hand reaching toward the sky, smile too big and too broken for a child, while the ending theme, the one Fujimoto hasn't written yet but we all hear in our nightmares, swells. The tropes aren't subverted, they're detonated, rebuilt out of blood and pudding cups, and handed back to us still beating. We clutch them to our chests and whisper, "Thank you, Sensei." Do it again. The fourth keynote isn't an ending. It's the moment the entire planet realizes it just got Fujimoto'd in real time. The MC is on his knees center stage, soaked in fake blood, real sweat, and the kind of tears you only earn after rereading chapter 150 at 3 a.m. The chainsaw arms have stopped spinning. The lights are down to a single dying bulb, the same sickly yellow as the apartment where everything went wrong. He lifts the mic with trembling hands and whispers the line that ends worlds. And in the end, she just wanted to go to college. Silence. Not con silence. The silence that happens right before the falling devil shows up and tells you gravity called in sick. Then the bulb flickers once, twice, and dies. Pitch black. For 5 full seconds the hall is a tomb. You can hear someone's Pochita plush hit the floor. You can hear hearts skipping beats. Then a single phone flashlight turns on in the balcony. Another in the pit. 10, 100, 10,000 phones rise like stars, all pointed at the stage, turning the entire convention center into one massive, trembling galaxy of light. No one told them to do it. It just happens, the way crowds instinctively scream, "Nayuta." Every time her panel appears in the manga. The MC still hasn't moved. He's frozen in the exact pose from the last page we'll ever see of her tiny hand reaching up, smile cracked wide open, eyes already accepting whatever comes next. The phone lights catch the tears sliding down his face and turn them into falling stars. Someone in the front row starts it. A soft, broken, "Thank you, for trying to be happy." The words ripple outward like the control devil's chain used to. Row by row, voice by voice, until 10,000 people are whispering it in perfect unison, some in English, some in Japanese, some just sobbing the vowels. The sound isn't loud, it's surgical. It cuts straight through bone and lands in the soul. The big screen, which has been dark for 30 seconds, suddenly flashes one image. Nayuta and Pochita asleep on Denji's back under a convenience store awning, rain coming down soft, her tiny hand clutching his jacket like it's the only thing keeping the world stitched together. No text, no music, just that panel, enlarged to 30 feet tall, held for 10 endless seconds while the galaxy of phone lights flicker like they're trying to keep her warm. The MC finally moves. He pulls the ripcord on his chest one last time, no blood this time, just a soft click. He looks up at the screen, voice completely gone, and rasps. "She smiled, so we could keep going." The lights crash back on full blast, but nobody's ready for color anymore. The entire hall is on its feet, not cheering, not clapping, just standing there, holding their phone lights high, crying quietly like they're at a funeral for someone who was never supposed to be real but somehow became the most important person any of us ever met. #Nayuta deserved college trends for 72 hours straight. Fan artists drop out of school to draw her in a university uniform. Someone starts a scholarship fund in her name. Crunchyroll adds a permanent, in memory, card to the end of every Chainsaw Man episode that simply reads, "She just wanted to be picked up after class." And somewhere, in the dark between chapters we'll never get, a little girl with chains around her heart and a dog made of hope keeps walking toward a tomorrow that might let her be normal for one more day. There wasn't a single dry eye in the world. There never will be again. Thank you, Nayuta. Come home whenever you're ready.